What you're looking at the moment are our collection of SOE and clandestine radios. The story I like to use to illustrate that is that of Noor Khan. Came from a Sufi family who were pacifists, born in Moscow, moved to Britain, then moved to France, and then at the fall of France she came back to the UK. She and her brother, despite the fact that they were pacifists, decided they should be doing something against the growing Nazism in Europe, so they both joined up. Noor Khan started off as a radio operator with the WAAF and eventually was headhunted by the Special Operations Executive. She would be what they call a pianist, which is a radio operator. Radio operators with the SOE basically had a 6-week lifespan in operations and a 50% chance of getting back alive. She did very well with her radio operator's course within the SOE because obviously she had experience that many of them didn't have. When she was moved to Bewley to do some of the security and fight training where they taught arms and things like that, she didn't do quite so well. She was supposed to be quite scared and they weren't sure whether or not they should send her to France, but eventually they did so. And unfortunately, in one of the early operations in 1943, she was given away by a colleague who was paid money to give names of SOE agents, one of which was Noor Khan's, and unfortunately she was then caught and captured. Eventually she tried to escape twice. She escaped successfully on a third occasion, and because of that was thought of as a high-risk individual and put in solitary confinement. What you can see in the suitcase radios that they would have used, they actually are 32 pounds in weight. So roughly 32 bags of sugar in a suitcase, so you can imagine the kind of weight that you're talking about. And once you had to send a message, this didn't have a power supply. So the first thing you'd have to do is find a power supply, then you would encode your message, and then obviously transmit it in Morse. If you started transmitting and you took longer than 20 minutes, the chances you would be direction found by the Germans, who had a very sophisticated DF unit patrolling around the streets, particularly of Paris, and they could pick you up within minutes and DF your position. So you had to be very quick. Obviously she did eventually get captured, and unfortunately because she was high risk, she was moved to Dachau, and the next morning she and 3 other SOE agents were taken out and executed by firing squad. So another very sad story of somebody who gave their life for their country.